Hi, race fans. Welcome to episode 3 of Watermelons and Woodchips, the official podcast of the Boone Speedway. And again, boys, we've made it to episode 3. First 2 went off really well, and we've gotten some traction, a lot of positive feedback so far. Like I said, I know we're going to get negative feedback at some point, but, we have a guest today that graced us with his presence. Robert Lawton, he owns the speedway here at Boone Speedway, and got time
along with Kathy Rutt.
Along with Kathy Rutt, and we're here to pick his brain on some stuff. And he always told me I can tell you what the wrong way to do things and not to do that. So, but it's cool that we get him in the studio. And welcome back, fellas.
How's it going?
Another Tuesday, another topic.
Another table.
Another different table.
I love the table.
Bigger yeah, the table's a little bit bigger. Got a pretty big man in the industry in the room here with us this evening. I think there's going to be a lot of things said today that a lot of people don't know about Mr. Lawton and what kind of things he's done for the racing world over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. We've kind of talked on it and touched on it, and I called him last week. I'm like, we need to get you on here, and he came up to look at a construction project, and we forced him in here. So,
hey, not very many people get a pull one over on Lottie, so we got that done.
Yeah. We got producer Garrett's got a microphone, so he can talk to us now finally. So, tell us when we need to wrap stuff up this time. But last week we kind of talked about our big dances, Super Nationals. Talked about some of the extracurricular activities that happened on the racetrack, and moving forward, we got this guy, and so we can just hopefully pick his brain and see if we're doing this right or not, because he's going to tell us.
Yeah, I think so.
But Lottie, welcome to our podcast. I know you said I don't know what the hell we're doing here, but
I had no idea that was going to be on this thing. I was coming to look at the new bathroom.
Well, there's construction stuff going on around here, and like you said, working on building a new bathroom out there.
Yep.
Out in the South Pit area.
Yep.
The old, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Scott Davis.
Yep.
Used to work on that a race car in there.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know this either, though. The 81 car used the first year, it wasn't sanctioned IMCA at the time, but he drove his car from his dad Greg's.
Yeah.
Which is just south of the racetrack here.
A couple
miles down a gravel road. They drove the race car to the racetrack.
No trailer.
No trailer.
Trailer.
Won the Super Nationals.
Yeah.
And then drove the car home.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know I can't remember what year that is, but he is Scott Davis, Dylan Thornton being a 3P or a 3-time winner in 3 different divisions. Scott Davis, was that as well. It wasn't sanctioned in the hobby stock division at that time.
Because they were still the street stocks back then. So
right. I mean, that's pretty unique, and we've heard, that you guys putting a new set of restrooms back there for the fans. This thing's gotten bigger and bigger. You guys worked on a project this winter, putting a road in there. We kind of talked about that in prior podcasts, and so it's kind of cool to see some newer things coming around here at the Speedway.
Well, one of the things about a racetrack is that the first thing is it has to be built out of concrete and steel, or it won't make it through the winter.
Right.
And secondly, if you don't make improvements every year, the place goes backwards. That's the way it is.
Time and time again, we see you guys doing all these projects, putting the catwalk back up over in the pit area, where we come out of the staging area this year.
Yeah, because the sprint cars used to go out there, so we had to cut it out, so we get sprint cars out there.
Yep.
Got sprint cars.
Well, and at least we were smart enough this time. Instead of putting in 2 piers, we only put in 1. Now we don't have to worry about the race cars running into the catwalk.
Right.
Trust me, I never thought it would happen, but it did. We had a guy run right into one of the posts.
You've probably seen a lot of things over the years.
Couldn't happen.
We kind of touched last week on.
Only could happen in racing.
Right. We touched last week on a little bit on how many racetracks you were running at one time.
Yeah.
Correct us, or I remember the Des Moines, Marshalltown, Boone, Mason City, Stewart.
I never run Stewart.
You never had Stewart?
No.
I thought he had Stewart there for a while too.
Jefferson?
Jefferson. Okay, yep.
And I got so mad at that place, I made my wife go up and run it the last year, 3 or 4 years I was there.
Do you remember what year it was that they shut that place down? We were trying to... I couldn't remember either.
Because after you had it, I think, is when Harney had it. I think Harney...
I think I got it from Kearney, I think.
Did you?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, because I think... Well,
I'm not sure it didn't shut down after that.
The last couple of years I remember going was like Randy Havlick and Harney's boy, maybe. Had
Oh,
it.
okay.
So
that could be.
Yeah.
That could be. I don't really remember, but I know that I got mad at the place, and I we had a 10-year contract or whatever, and we ran out the first 5, and I just wrote him a check. Get out of there.
Washed his hands from that one early, folks.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was that made you mad about it?
No cars.
Wouldn't show up? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just so isolated. We were so isolated between Harlan and Boone. The only cars we got came from Boone. So, and they were already running 2 or 3 nights. They were running Marshalltown and Boone, 99% of them. So 3-night racers back then was a big deal. Mm-hmm. Today it's probably not as big a deal. A lot of guys will race as many nights as you can let them.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's my dad and or Glendale. Dad used to race the car at Boone here on Saturdays, and then Ergie Lindahl would race the car on Sundays. We always called it Hazard County over there.
Yeah.
Because they tore up so much stuff all the time.
Maybe that's why it didn't work.
Right. I mean...
They could only come once a month.
Right, and... So I knew a lot of that makes some sense there. You had some guys maybe sharing a car back in the day.
I didn't even remember that.
Yeah,
I had no clue.
Yeah,
I'll be darned.
I remember Dad we still has the picture up in the shop, and he had his girlfriend's name right on the left front. It was Kate. Just had his number on there. I'm like, he's like, yeah, just checking that. Yeah, that's my girlfriend. And I just like, it's just this brown car, and then the next year he got that Chevelle. They built that Chevelle in the shop that we're in now. And it's just kind of cool. Some of that nostalgic thing. This year bringing the nostalgic cars here.
Yeah.
For the first time ever.
Fun.
Very, very fun.
Fun.
Very, very, very fun.
For all of us old people, it was really good. I don't know about the new people, but the old people really loved it.
Well, they had, that was a hell of a race, too.
Yeah, it really was.
Well,
yeah.
It got Western there and down there in turn one.
I thought they were going to tear half of them up.
Well, and my dad, you guys, Lottie's watched him race a lot of years. My dad was always a very clean, very respectable driver on the racetrack, and I'd never seen him come down the backstretch. He had his finger out the window, not his middle finger, but he was just pointing at this guy. They were doing a little rubbing and stuff on there, and I'm like, he come in, the whole left side was smashed up, just a rubbing deal, but it was like, some of them guys are, a lot older, 60 in the 70-year-old,
yeah,
which is really cool, and to have the
still trying to live their childhood.
Right. And for them guys to travel, a lot of them are from that Cedar Rapids area.
Yeah.
For them to travel over here just to experience the first time at Boone Speedway was just I thought
they had
a very
good
cool
time.
thing. Yes.
They really did. They really had a good time.
Yeah. Well, they had 21.
There was 21 cars. Yeah.
And that's unbelievable.
Yeah, and so many people on the internet were just like couldn't believe that. I think that Brian Gade does a really good job of running that little series or whatever it is, and
he was really helpful.
Yeah, and getting you kind of see they have that Show Me State. In the Show Me State, they have the wide fives down there. Dad's got one of them cars as well. I think it's getting a bigger deal because we've seen some young people
really
that were at Boone here. Yeah,
oh okay.
They're racing now. You can't race any other sanction or class and run that class. I do know that. I don't know all the rules and stuff on it, but it's a pretty cool deal for you to allow them to come here and put on a show. I thought there for a minute it was going to be a half hour, and we're going to have to start counting caution laps. But they actually kind of got in line.
They settled down.
I wish I could have heard what Grant was saying to him there, because it
Yeah.
got a little, they they were getting a little
Try
wound
one
up
lap.
there for a
Try
little bit.
racing one lap at a time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, like I said, they kind of pop canned one over in turn 1 too, didn't they? Over
That
there?
green
Yeah.
22 or whatever.
Mustang.
I mean, his right rear hooked and bit, and then it got Western after that.
Yeah.
Rear end ripped out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was early 2000s hobby stock looking when it
Oh,
went
yeah.
over. I thought, man, we got pieces and parts flying everywhere.
yes, for sure. And I hate to see that, take one of those cars away from that series. But at the same time, they're racing.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter how old they are, when you're out there
They
and
just
you're
forgotten
doing
how to drive. That's all.
well,
They still think they can, but they just haven't.
all
quite.
oxygen turns off
Yeah.
to our brains. You've told me that a few
Yeah.
times.
When they put their helmet on,
Yes,
it pinches things,
Yeah.
especially that string between their brain and their foot.
Lottie's always told me, yeah, if they get that strap too tight, look out. So
Yep.
I think he said it about you too, probably.
I've,
I'm sure I have.
oh yeah.
I'm sure I have.
A lot of people lost a great man that spent a lot of time here at the Boone Speedway. I know Robert Lawton here and John Avery were very, very good friends, and to see Robert Avery pick up a feature or a heat race win at the Super Nationals.
Yep.
Robert's been
Pretty
racing
special.
here
Ever.
for a long time. Doesn't race anywhere else. Maybe once in a while, when Des Moines was going, he'd run down there. Their whole family a big part of the Boone Speedway. We got together. John was the tech official here at the Boone Speedway for I don't know how many years. Lottie would have to
25,
answer
30,
that one.
At least. Might even be 35. He's been here almost as long as I have.
Yeah. So long time, John Avery. Had a scale box down there in the infield. We spiced up for him.
Did a nice job. Boy,
yeah.
it looks like it was done by a professional.
Robert come down and was like, "Hey,
I think that's a compliment, Bob.
Yeah, I know. I'm taking it gingerly and then soaking it up." He had come down, and it's always tough to have that interaction with somebody that's, Robert Avery bought his first modified from my dad.
Really?
Yes.
I'll be darned. Small world.
Yes. So Robert's known me for a long time, and for him to ask about doing this box, is in a lot rougher shape than what we thought. Oh yeah.
Good people.
Oh yeah. Always. Robert showed me the video that they played at or had at his memorial or whatever, and it was a picture of Lottie and I and John, and we were down in the infield. And I was asking John about it was a question, and usually, like we've talked here multiple times, that I'm down in the infield talking with my hands. Well, Lottie thought I was yelling at him, and John Avery got the biggest kick out. He got that picture framed of us three, and Lottie was like this to me, and I'm like this, and John is sitting there with his headset cocked, and he couldn't hear what I was saying.
Right.
So we were like,
I remember this. Encounter. Yeah.
Yes, but they played that, in the thing, and John just got such a kick out. He got that picture, and he brought it down to my trailer.
At the memorial.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It
Yeah.
was in the memorial. He had me sign it and everything,
Yeah.
and it was just those were one of the moments. I've grew up here at the Boone Speedway. I've we talked a little bit about some of that. The only place I've ever been kicked out of is here, and so but
I
it's
can't imagine why.
yep. So
Do you remember?
Well, we were talking about when we left last week. I broke my arm right over here when I was a kid playing football on the little hilly over here. We were playing 500 poison ball, broke that sucker, and then I was kicked out for fighting one time before I was racing. But other than that, I mean, I got DQ'd in the Tech 10 area. I don't know. I just do, been coming here a long time.
Yeah, well,
We were kicked out of the Tech 10s, and is nothing unusual though.
No. We was always pushing that gray area.
I was going to say, if this place, if you don't cheat, you don't eat.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, and that's what we were talking with Lottie off air a little bit. So do you, like, we were looking at these old programs and, like, what you said, you were kind of talking to us about when you got this place and, like, how rough a shape it is compared to what it is now.
Well, when they built the place, they ran out of money. I mean, you could see where they started. They really put the racetrack in the proper place, on the property. The location of it is just superior. I don't think anybody could have done a better job of putting the racetrack at the right place on the grounds. There's 70 acres here, and they gave us enough room on the north side of the racetrack to build a pit area. Back then, when they built the place, they put it in the infield. They didn't have any cars. Now that we get 150 cars, you got to have some place to put them.
See, I did not know that. I didn't know they put it in the infield.
Oh yeah, hell yes. That was so the crowd could see the action. That was the excuse that everybody used back then, so the grandstand could see what the guys are doing on their race cars, whether it worked or not. I don't know.
You would know this too. Now, I've been told that when they built the racetrack, a lot of the people that did stuff at the racetrack, for instance, like built the concession stands.
Yep, donated stuff.
Then they basically, at that time, it was like a share deal.
Yep.
To where if you did something at the racetrack, you got shares
Yep.
to the racetrack.
Yep. Didn't get paid, but you got shares.
But you got shares.
Yeah.
Right.
Hoping it was going to be worth something someday.
Right. Right. Yeah, hoping someday.
Yeah.
And that was long time ago, and how did, like when you took over, I know this has been probably a tough question to answer, but, was that a question like how many shares are out there? How many, can somebody just...
I didn't, I think I bought controlling share, I think. And I don't even remember who I bought the shares from. I don't really remember.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know Greg, and I'm not sure his dad didn't have shares too. Obviously it was his dad's ground to start with.
Right.
I assume, I shouldn't assume it, but I assume that's what I did, is I bought up enough shares to get controlling interest so I couldn't get myself in trouble.
Right.
I hope I was that smart anyway.
Well, it just makes you wonder how many, this isn't a fairgrounds like a typical racetrack at a lot of places.
There are not very many private-owned racetracks in Iowa.
Right. This is one
We've
of the...
had that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't even know how many's actually left that's not a fairground run deal.
Well, obviously Stewart.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. Right.
I don't know any
Those are
other
the only
ones.
two
but
I can think of.
I'm
right
sure
off the
there
top
are.
of my head.
I was thinking there was one up in the northeast part of the state, somewhere that's privately owned. Freeport, not Freeport. What? There's another one up there's privately owned. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, Farley.
Oh, Farley.
Farley.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes,
Farley.
Farley.
Yeah.
The Simon boys
Freeport.
own that.
Yeah.
There.
Yep.
Freeport. That's
But
Illinois.
Well, you
Just
still got
damn
it.
near, just damn
Making
near
it-
every other place is fairgrounds. It's a
Yeah.
fairgrounds track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Well, that's what makes Iowa so, I don't know whether you could say comfortable or economic, physical, to be able to do, because these racetracks are not cheap. Each one of these things are worth a couple of $1 million. And somebody to build a new racetrack, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at least a couple of $1 million to build one. For a dirt track, they will, the income won't support it.
And a fairgrounds is kind of like having another partner
Yeah.
where they're
Yeah.
able to supply some things.
Yeah.
And if they play ball, like
Well,
they
most
should.
of them do, though.
But-
We've had Marshalltown, Mason City, who else? Iowa State Fairgrounds for a while. There's several fairgrounds people who have, now doesn't Spencer do one too?
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of the good are Harlan.
Yeah.
You can talk about major fairgrounds that have racing.
Yeah, so they had Brett and Jim had the Harlan promoter on their show, and there was some stuff that they film all their own shows on their weekly stuff, and have like there's a lot of things that he talked about in that podcast that I had no idea. Mm-hmm. So I was really excited when they said that you were coming up here, because there's a lot of stuff. Well, there's a lot of stuff, that like just the share thing and when he took it over and man, the nostalgia that is here at the Boone Speedway,
we've been lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for IMCA, we wouldn't be where we're at. We grew with IMCA. Mm-hmm. As they expanded.
Was this track ever NASCAR rules?
I don't believe so.
Do you remember?
I don't believe so. Well, it might have been if it was. I'll take that back. It was a NASCAR facility when I came here, and I moved it to IMCA.
Yep. So, because did you ever run Webster? No, Webster City was the fairgrounds too, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I've never at Webster.
Because I remember my dad running like Denison and Webster and a lot of the tracks around were a NASCAR.
Yeah.
Corning still is, I believe, the only NASCAR track left.
Yeah, because when my dad ran sprint cars at Webster City, I think it was NASCAR too. So.
I just remember we used to go over to Denison, and I remember we used to go over there because they had scalloped taters and ham down in the infield. Tiny, the guy that used to build a lot of my dad's engines.
Yeah.
We to the pit shack immediately to the infield to get scalloped potatoes and ham. They had the radar gun, and coming off of turn 2 over there. I remember we went over there one time, and Joe McBurney went 131 mile an hour around that sucker.
Yeah.
I mean, it was impressive.
That's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
But, so I'm kind of curious. I mean, that'd probably be a Ryan question that, when did a lot of these tracks actually, switch and go IMCA sanctioned? And Brett might even know.
It's a lot faster than we think.
Yeah.
I don't know whether NASCAR, I don't know whether they lost a representative in this territory or IMG just got stronger. Who knows? But they just squeezed them out of everything.
So that's a good question. Like, was Boone Speedway, sanctioned before Marshalltown?
Oh, I have no clue.
Or you know what I mean? Like, that's I wonder. I'm surely they have that. I mean, that'd be kind of interesting to know.
I think Marshalltown was before.
One of their calling cards is I think they're the longest sanctioned stock car track.
Who is?
Marshalltown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they were sanctioned.
What was it, Frisky?
I think it was like the year before here.
Was it Frisky and who else ran Marshalltown? Frisky and another guy.
Yeah, I don't.
They were
How long did you have
they
it,
were local.
Lottie? How long did you have it?
I have no.
Was that Cliff Chambers before?
No. Cliff Chambers used to be part of an owner here.
Okay.
I think so.
Really?
I think. Yeah, wasn't he?
Who's what? Yeah, I said really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. When did Everett? Because Everett Sathers.
He bought it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he had something to do with Stewart as well, right?
Yeah.
Everett did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He owned Stewart before.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everett's still around, yeah?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because I seen Kevin Sathers
Yeah.
Yeah.
getting back behind the old class, the old Wild Thing class. I couldn't believe it.
He's in modified now.
Right.
You're kidding me.
The back race.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, they had a hobby stock, and he just.
Yeah.
I think he went and frickin' put it on him a couple times at Marshalltown.
Yeah.
So then Bo ended up getting
Yeah.
a modified for him. But yeah, it's like you got a guy that made the Show Me 100
Yeah.
late model race racing a hobby stock.
Dude, I watched Kevin when he got in that hobby at Marshalltown. He was like right off the bat a little shaky, but 2-3 races under his belt, and next thing you know, he's the fastest one there.
Yeah.
And
Kid had a
I
lot.
kind of thought
Kid had some. He had some talent.
he can wheel.
He really did.
He can. If he'd
Yeah.
stayed in that hobby, I swear he'd have come to Super Nationals, and I bet you he'd have been one of the ones to beat.
Yeah.
He hadn't changed a lick. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
seen. I
No.
mean, he still looks the same as
yeah.
when
Yeah.
I was racing with him in a sport mod.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He don't age much.
I mean,
The rest of us, not so much. We
You know-
know how to age.
right.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people too. The Everett Sathers Tower here at the Boone Speedway has been there for many, many, many,
Yeah.
many moons. You
Yeah.
know, Kendall used to rip laps around here. Everett Sather. I don't know how long. I remember when the Big Bear was.
Yeah.
Were
on the corner.
That's as far back as I remember is
Yeah.
that Big Bear being there
Yeah.
next to the racetrack.
Yep.
Yeah. And Big Bear, for people that don't know, it was like a
chain.
Yeah, like a store.
Like a tractor
farm
supply,
store.
kind of,
Yeah, exactly.
basically.
Like
Yeah.
an Orscheln's or
Yeah.
a tractor supply,
Yeah.
Baumgars, whatever. So, but yeah, I remember all those, and talking about those guys. I actually found an old removable hard drive the other day when I was cleaning out the office, and when I found that IMCA racing computer game, so we gotta figure that out. But I found old hard drive of footage, and it was like me tooling around with Kevin and those guys and Everett, and it was kind of cool. But how long did you and Everett have? Did you guys initially buy this place together, or did you have?
No.
You did first, and then he came in.
No, Everett bought it.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, he bought the controlling shares, and then I don't even know how the end of it came. I came here somehow, for whatever reason. I'd have to ask Kathy, but I think we own it all now.
Yeah.
I'm not positive, but I think we do. I hope we do anyway. Because for what it was worth then and what it's worth now,
Right.
it might be my retirement.
Right.
When IMCA came to you, Lottie, as the IMCA Super Nationals used to travel around.
Yeah.
When the sanction comes to you and offers or
It
whatever,
it wasn't offered.
or whatever it
No,
was, or
well-
whatever it is, none of us know.
When all that stuff came down, I think they run Knoxville and Mason City and someplace else.
Vinton.
Well, you're right, it was Vinton.
Yep.
I think that was the last one, I think. And I convinced Kathy at the time that she needed to bring it to one place and leave it. And that's what happened. And you can see what it's turned into.
Oh,
and it was pretty.
yeah.
It's like I told her, this isn't rocket science. I said, all we have to do is follow what Knoxville did, because they were very successful, and they are very successful. So all we had to do is just watch what they did, copy. We didn't have to be too smart. So, and it's.
Well, didn't you say like when you guys brought it here, like after it switched, it lost money like the first
They did for 4 or 5
years or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that first.
Yeah.
But and that's something that you and I talk about is like when you create like an uncertainty,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's why a lot of these places they lose money with it until you like consistently.
Yeah,
work
when
towards
you
it.
put out a good product,
Well, and that was something
it'll take
that
care of itself.
we talked about earlier this year with the Harris Clash coming to Boone for the first time in a while.
Oh, wow.
Is how that worked out.
Unbelievable.
I think if I remember right, I saw a little bit of worry on Lottie's face,
yeah.
how that was going to work.
I got those phone calls too.
Right?
Yeah, I've seen those worries too with the Salute to Veterans deal.
Oh, for sure.
Same deal, and it just absolutely just staggering what it did. Unbelievable.
and-
Car-wise and people-wise, it just, you thought we had another Saturday night at the Nationals. That's how big it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
It's the stuff like that. It's there was a lot of people that were a lot of controversy of that. Oh, geez, Boone gets another big show. But what that, in my opinion, is it's like, the show was over in a timely fashion for the amount of cars that were here.
Yeah, we did. I think we did a good job. I really did.
And this isn't a jab at any other racetrack or anything, but there's just. Over the years, you've acquired so much equipment.
Well, we've acquired a lot of good help. Help is what makes it work.
You go to some of these. You traveled around,
Yeah.
the last few years, just going racing, more than I've seen you travel, in a lot of different over the years. And it's just, it was kind of cool to talk to you and chat with you at some of these shows. You and my dad have this weird
Love-hate relationship.
love-hate relationship. I wasn't going to say it, but I'll let you say it. And now that
thinking the
Dad's
same thing.
right now that Dad's listening, that's going to be good.
Oh yeah.
No, but it was just cool to.
It was your dad's fault. It wasn't mine.
Right? We talked about it. You basically telling my dad back in the day he was running cars away from here, and go
Yeah,
race
he
Webster
was.
City, and
Yeah.
and
I don't think. I think he only lost 1 year. I think 1 year he raced here only lost one feature.
I believe that.
yeah.
Seriously, I think he won every feature except one. And
believe
I
that.
think he ran second that night.
When I started coming here, Lottie, he was the guy.
Oh, yeah.
The guy. And I remember
And what I don't understand is that, he was so superior here, but he was kind of just another race car. everywhere else.
There's one other place that I saw him do that, and it was in Des Moines.
Oh yeah.
He was damn good down there, and
Okay.
I don't know what
remember
it was.
that, but
Yeah,
he did.
I
He
suppose
He
he
went
must
on
have
a.
raced for me.
Yeah, he was like a.
Big difference between a quarter mile and a half mile, though.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of car
Yeah.
Yeah.
to run
Right.
a half mile. A lot of car.
Right.
Lot
And that
of
Des Moines track, I was lucky enough to race on that track. But watching my dad down there when they had the 360 sprints and the late models and everything,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, because my dad raced sprint cars down there when your dad was racing modifieds
Yeah.
down there.
you get out on that racetrack, guys, and it
It's
was
huge.
like ginormous.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Bill-
tell you, we had a guy, what was it, with a sprint car? Yeah, with a sprint car. The off-ramp to the racetrack was where the Midway, was where the Midway was.
Yep.
Off of corner 1.
Yep.
We had a car, we had a concrete, there was a concrete fence all around that place, so we put a concrete abutment so they couldn't run directly into the end of it, and somebody did. No, the sprint car ran right into that goddamn barrier and put the right front wheel right in the cockpit. I got about to kill the guy.
Yes. You remember that, and shortly after that, that's when you guys started putting a bunch of barrels
Yep.
and tires,
Yeah.
and I mean, I used to rip laps up in the grandstands down on the, down with the cars and stuff. But there was a ton of cars, at that show, and they always had the fair race. They had the dream race
Dream
there,
race.
a few years, and it's just so weird going down there now.
Yeah, and there is some talk. I haven't been down there to talk to them, but I'm going to. They're going to put a racetrack in out there in the quarter.
I've heard a little bit about that too.
I don't know where the money's coming from, and I don't know how big it can be, but that's not a very big chunk of ground.
No, the way they redid
somebody told me
that,
they're tearing down the horse barns too.
they redid that deal and basically built a quarter mile over in the corner.
Did it?
With
Did,
a nice,
did it as a quarter?
nice grandstand. Yep.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
haven't even seen it.
It's got. They didn't really build a track. They've got it set up for like truck pulls and
Okay.
they do like
Is it big
side-by-side
enough? You think it's a
races.
quarter?
I think it could be an easy quarter, maybe
Really?
even a 3/8.
Really?
Yeah.
Where
Yep.
in the hell the ground
Where's
come
that?
from?
It's right in the corner, right in the northwest corner of the
Right
fairgrounds,
where
like
the
parking
corner is
lot.
cut off instead of being square.
Oh
By
yeah,
University,
Yeah.
right
No
there,
shit.
where that sign
Yeah.
used to be.
It's sitting north and south.
Yeah, where the
Yep.
horse barns used to be.
really?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I got to go out and look at it.
Yeah, it's pretty. There's
Because
been
they're telling
chatter,
me they
but
may be putting on races there in 27.
I could see it.
yeah.
They can make it happen. They definitely.
I
could.
mean,
Going back to the fairgrounds though. Like so last episode we talked about people having
Before I forget about it, they lost their previous fair manager here this year. A guy named Mary Lucas passed away this year. Good friend of mine came from the Missouri State Fair when I ran races at the Missouri State Fair, and then came to the Iowa State Fair where we ran races there. Really a good fair manager. Not that the new guy isn't, but
wow.
Yeah. Well,
Small
we were
world.
talking about the fairgrounds last week, and it spawned from our conversation of like some of the extracurricular activities that we had, people fighting and stuff. And I'm like, I swear, like, I saw more fights down at the fairgrounds. I said, I think Lottie would egg some of them on so he could sell tickets.
I don't know why that place was that way, but it was. Well, first of all, we had, and I probably won't mention their names. There were some guys that owned a tire shop right around the corner from the racetrack, so they know exactly who I'm talking about. But they were always in a fight. Always in a fight. They had a stock car.
It just seemed like
But
there
that
was a
was-
lot of claims that went on down there at that place.
Well, every day. Every day. If we didn't have at least one claim in every class, we were disappointed. Now the racers were not very disappointed. But one of the things that was such a controversy, but boy, you talk about keeping the racing even. There weren't too many $5,000 motors.
right.
It really did. That claim really evened things up for a while, but it just got to be so controversial and so hard to enforce. Made so many people pissed off. It ran its course,
That ran its course
Ran its
for
course.
sure. We did. We talked about it, and
and it's too bad.
yeah,
Right now, we still got motor cost problems.
Oh yeah.
for hobby stocks.
We touched on that a little bit too. It's like cool stuff ain't cheap.
No.
And cheap shit ain't cool.
No.
Right.
And the thing of it is it's like, people that want to take the time and want to spend their money, their hard-earned money.
Yep.
If they want to go spend this on whatever it is, that's their choice.
Yep.
But that goes back to this is a racing man's or a working man's sport.
Definitely.
You can build these cars for whatever you want it to be.
The problem with them now is that so many of the guys that are getting into the business now have no knowledge about how to build anything. They know how to drive a race car. They know how to drive.
They know how to buy it.
And they know how to buy it. And they have good, they have got guys that are good mechanics, but they couldn't build a race car if they had to. I don't think I'd probably never even seen a welder. They just don't. I mean, they buy everything.
Yep.
Which,
We
good and bad,
we talked about
makes
that.
it difficult for guys who are getting in the industry to get in.
Right, we talked about that. Like you used to be able to go to a junkyard
Yep.
and you could pull the motor straight up. Boyd Brown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boyd Brown raced here. That's how my dad got into racing was
Yep.
Boyd Brown. But he would pull the motor out of his old lady's vehicle on Friday morning, put it in the race car.
Race it all week.
Yeah, go race
Weekend.
Marshalltown, come
Yep.
to Boone, race, and Boyd was good.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, he'd pull it out, and Blanche,
Put it back
she'd
in
be
the
off
car.
to work on Monday morning.
Talk about somebody who's dedicated to this sport.
Right.
That's
know.
par for the course,
Wow.
though, if you know Boyd and Blanche.
Right. I mean, Eric, Boyd was a hell of a racer.
I was going to say probably the most limited budget racer we had, and probably one of the better racers. One of the top 5 racers that we had.
Yep, and he had a second generation driver, Eric Brown, who
Yeah.
Won the Super Nationals in the
Yeah.
IMCA hobby stock
High
class.
dollar. That was my nickname for Eric.
Yep. And, E Brown, electrifying E Brown is what his nickname was out there on the call. But people like that kind of the grassroots of the whole racing thing. You can't
built racing here.
Yeah.
At Boone.
Right.
Well,
You can't go to a junkyard now and buy that kind of stuff.
Well, you can buy it, but it won't work.
Yeah,
It's not
right.
fast enough.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
we have guys come through the gate once in a while, and you can kind of see their equipment's a little older. They're trying, they're building stuff, and you can tell as soon as they hit the track. It's not their fault. They're trying to come out
Yeah.
and do it, but it's definitely shifted to off the shelf more
Yeah.
than it is.
Unfortunately,
off the
it's
shop floor.
It's really driven the cost, especially the hobby stocks. Mm-hmm. Modifieds and sport buns have always been expensive.
Yep.
But
Yep.
we used to go be able to, like I said, go to the junkyard and buy one and actually be competitive.
And be competitive.
But you can't do it now.
We had 85 hobby stocks a week here back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
4 features.
Yeah.
It was the toughest place.
Yeah.
I mean, but that kind of, you basically kind of cemented that class.
Yeah.
What it is here.
Well, we used to have so many cars. We had 4 features.
Right.
And I think if I remember right, I paid $100 to win the feature for a hobby stock.
When it
And
went
we
to
had-
100,
did.
We
went to
had 4
120.
Yeah.
By the way, that was when they had $15 pit passes here too, folks. There was a time and day
Hey,
that was a
cut it
thing.
out.
Cheapest place you could get a pit pass, and for a long time. This isn't a jab at all the other tracks, but Boone Speedway, and it was like just like Lottie said here, you get 80 hobby stocks on a weekly show.
Yeah. And half of them were for Boone.
Yeah,
Honest
no
to God,
kidding.
half of them were for Boone. Boy, you talk about filling the pit area. Holy mackerel.
What year did you guys put the catwalk up?
Oh, I have
Do you remember?
No, I have no
I don't remember. I know it's been up there for a lot of years.
Yeah.
I
Basically,
copied that from somebody. I don't remember who. Oh, wait a minute. I think it was Earl Baldus at Eldora.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah, that's where I copied it from.
Little Eldora flavor.
Yeah.
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 Eldora.
Earl was probably one of the smartest promoters we've ever.
We like Eldora.
Yeah. One of the smartest promoters we've ever had in the industry.
Well, and
Yeah.
that kind of leads me to my next point. And a lot of people probably don't know, they just know Lottie from like being here and IMCA stuff. But, I was talking to him earlier. I was reading the Steve Kinzer book that came out, and they mentioned Lottie as being one of the promoters for Ted, which a lot of those guys probably, like I said, how long did you do the World of Outlaws deal, or was it early?
Long time.
Was it before here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I suppose close to 15 years. And I'm trying to remember what happened. I think maybe Ted died.
Because he passed away in what, 06 maybe? I think I read.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's what stopped my World of Outlaw stuff, was when he passed away.
Yeah, because
I had a pretty exclusive relationship with Ted.
yeah, and I was reading about that whole transition from them to the group, that Boundless group, and
Yeah.
then Carter bought it from
Yeah.
Boundless. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool just to hear some of the stories, like about you guys putting on big World of Outlaw sprint car shows too.
Yeah, we did them all over the country. I put on, like, one time I think I was doing 10 or 12 in a year.
That's crazy. Not a lot of people know
California
that. You used to own a track in Talladega,
I own part of it.
or part of it.
Yeah, Len Phillips and I did. And we put one on there. I'm trying to remember how far east I went. I went east quite a little ways. I don't even remember.
So before you got into promoting, I know you used to just go to the races.
I had a race car.
Yeah, he had a race car.
Had a race car. That's how stupid I was.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
you actually raced.
No, I
Dad
didn't
just
race.
said that.
No, I didn't race.
That you helped a sprint car guy or someone, and he couldn't remember either.
Well, I
Well-
saw in the Speedway book that you worked for Speedway, working on sprint
I
cars
did.
then too.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Coulter drove for us. Out of, he was old sanctioning body out of Arizona. He was, what do they call that place? California Racing Association? I don't know.
CRA?
CRA.
Okay,
He,
yeah,
won
that's-
he won the championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Why did you want to promote? Just because you loved racing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever done in my entire life.
I just did, like people, we talked about it.
Now, I worked on my first race car when I was 15 years old on a sprint car. My job was to, back then we didn't have heated groovy irons. You had to do it by hand with a deal that held a razor blade. That's how we sharpened the edge of the, back then we had these old diamond tires that were harder than hell. God, they were hard. And we used to sipe them. Back then they didn't have sipe guns. So you siped them with a razor blade. Just,
Wow.
that was my job when I was 15.
So did you ever drive one at all? Not
Well, I
hot
tried.
lap?
I'm not saying I didn't try. Yeah, I tried. But,
Gave it a shot.
well, I had no money and no talent, and that doesn't work in racing.
Still doesn't work today.
No, I don't work today either. No.
I've seen a few try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Golly.
It was really a big joke.
And then, so after that, like you were kind of telling me a story about you also had part in like UMP for a while, right?
Yeah.
With you and Kenny and Bob
Yeah.
and Sargent.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long did you guys have that?
Well, we bought it from Bob Memmer.
Oh.
No,
I just-
have no clue.
oh yeah. Well, I just
Have no clue.
I just thought it was cool. Like, yeah, that's. He
I
was
don't,
like,
I
"Oh,
don't
used
even
to
remember who we
own
sold
part
it to. We sold it to somebody, but I don't remember who.
Well, World Racing Group has it now. So
Yeah, it wasn't them though.
yeah.
Had to been somebody between.
Gotcha.
I think
Yeah.
it was just one guy, but I don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
But we bought it from Bob Emmer's who we bought it from.
Gotcha.
And the only reason we got it bought is because of Kitty.
Right.
Kitty Schrader was in, and Bob were buddies.
Yeah, because you start stacking these Lottie stories, and I'm like, man, he's done a lot of stuff. Like, they had the late model deal too, right?
Yeah.
You guys bought the Stacker 2 series and
Yeah.
then sold it to World of Outlaws, and so this dude's been around a lot more than the IMCA stuff.
Right. Well, and that's what, like I said, he's been in the industry for, 50 years?
Probably.
50
Yeah,
years or
probably.
longer?
Yeah, probably.
I
yeah,
mean-
maybe in 55 or 60.
I mean, that's a long time, and to
the
travel
only thing I
all
know.
over the... Huh?
That's one thing I know how to do.
Right, right. We talked, Lottie, about the farming,
Yeah.
and how Boone Speedway kind of brought that farming, and it kind of just really hyped up the Boone Speedway.
It wasn't anything that I invented, though. I
Right.
stole that from, who did I steal that from? I think it came from Alabama, I think.
Really?
I think so.
Now with
And
the
when they did it, They had a piece of equipment that they had axle shafts in. They just had a framework and they just drove axle shafts down far enough to hit the ground, and that's
Really?
that's what they used to do. The same things we do with these spring tubes. Ours are just a lot faster, and they do a better job. And when you get enough of them, you can really turn stuff over.
Right.
Just takes a lot of equipment to turn shit over fast.
Well, and that's another thing we talked about was the Woodchips deal, because where was the place? Was it Hobstadt that had that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. It was.
Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I stole that from.
Yeah.
See, I've never had an original idea in my life. I can just see stuff that looks like to me it works, and
Tune her in a little bit to the old.
yeah, whatever.
The old.
Well, yeah, you just manage it a little better.
Yeah.
And
Put the old RL
You
on
don't
her.
have, you don't have to do nothing. You just go around and follow her out. God, that guy works pretty good. Let's try that.
it
steal
worked
everything.
out. When do you? I know I'm reaching here, but do you remember when the first year it was you started putting the wood chips on the
Oh,
racetrack?
hell no.
I mean,
Long
because
time ago.
I told these guys, I remember when I was a kid coming out here and watching, before you farm the racetrack, I mean, you used to get super slick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super slick.
Yeah.
But Dad's got videos of, what would basically what our sport mods are now, but with full sail panels, when there
Yep.
wasn't sport mods.
Yeah.
I mean, them guys were out there getting it and going just as fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's amazing about this racetrack, which still amazes me today, is that we have 3 classes that run the same speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call them? Mod lights,
Mod lights
sport mods,
and modifieds.
and modified.
and bikes. They all run the same speed, 17 seconds.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, how in the hell is that possible? Doesn't even make sense.
So the Harris Clash, they did an award for fastest lap, and I think you were the one that sent it to me. Mm-hmm. And Jake Sacco, in a sport mod, was the fastest overall lap
For the whole national.
the whole Harris Clash in a sport mod was faster.
Makes
than
no
modified.
sense. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. That all 3 of those divisions are the same speed.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah,
And that
it's
is
crazy.
really cool.
It's just stupid.
I mean, I know that the mod lights are, there's times
Yeah.
that they're faster.
They are fast.
We were talking about this. We took remember when we used to do the finger
Oh
wave?
yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of people
Yeah,
are
exactly.
pissed.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, Garrett's like, the finger wave? I'm like, yeah, the Dorf cars. Like,
Yeah.
we used to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember the old Thunder cars
Yeah.
that we used to
Oh, yeah.
have when I was a kid? I remember,
Kale Sponsler and I think
Right.
Brian F. Camp used
That's,
to race.
that's the only car that's ever been in the grandstand. We had one of them things. Oh yeah, we had a Thunder car that hit the back straightaway. It didn't have that concrete wall back then. It just had a trip fence. And,
You tripped.
yeah,
Oh boy.
and he got up on top of that, flipped it, got up on top of that ledge and flipped right into the grandstand because there was no barriers and no fence, no nothing, just a grandstand in the back straightaway. Next week we had all
those are
3.
some of the pictures that my dad has of some of the stuff. So it's like
Lucky.
it's
I mean, it hurt
really
somebody.
cool to
God.
see.
It scared me to death.
Yeah.
Oh. I
Yeah.
thought, boy, my insurance companies were not going to want to hear about this.
Good thing there was no TV back then, huh?
Yeah. Well, good thing we didn't have many people because there was nobody sitting in the grandstand. Otherwise, we'd have been in trouble.
We were talking about the guardrail.
Mm-hmm.
How nasty and gnarly that sucker was
Yeah.
before you guys put
Yeah.
in the concrete there.
We had a deal early on that got, let's see, who in the hell was involved in that deal? I don't even remember. We had a 3-way crash on the French Tornado, and somebody hit one of the modifieds and put him into that guardrail fence and spun him out in front of everybody. Just junked everything. Both cars. The car that hit him and his car just absolutely junked him. And it was really the responsibility of the racetrack. I actually did buy him a new race car, because it was really our fault. It wasn't his fault,
Did you guys hear that? See, everybody thinks Lottie's a stubborn hard ass, but been around racing a long time. Stepping up when needs to step up, and there's been a lot of times where he's put his neck out there on the line, and my dad's
Racing's
always
been good to me and my family, though.
yep.
It really has.
Right. Yeah, well, you've built. There's been a lot of people here that have helped you build this empire, and you've just ramrodded it.
Rod and Bob came here early on and did all the hard work that everybody sees. That happened over the years. If you see pictures of this place when I came here, it was scary. It was just absolutely scary how they. I assume they ran out of money. That's why I could figure out why the edges weren't trimmed up. But
and you must have seen a vision. Like Cody and I basically lived what you've built here. I'm 37 years old, so I've been coming here for 35 years.
Same. Yeah. Same. I think the first time I was here, I was like, I was a couple months old probably.
Well, yeah.
So, didn't that picture I just looked at, was you still in the arms of somebody?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Christ almighty.
Yeah, I was a year old in that photo when Dad won the 1989 Hawkeye Challenge qualifying feature.
Well, my dad was the IMCA stock car points championship here in '88 when I was born. And the races got rained out here on a Saturday.
That car that's in that picture is your dad's old car because my dad bought it from your dad.
Small world, isn't it?
It really is.
Small world, the racing community, small world.
It really, really, really is.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, our break didn't last very long. Didn't go very well. What? Anything else you guys want to ask Lottie? Because I know he's got to go look at his bathrooms out there.
I got it. So I got to hear both of yours, and then I got one too. What's your best Lottie story? You got to have one.
Mine was the John Avery thing.
Yours is the John Avery.
Because Lottie thought that I was chewing his ass, which I was just. We were just talking,
right.
And John was even told him, but we were in the infield and the races were going on, so it just looked like we were yelling, or that I was yelling at him.
Yeah, you were yelling so they could hear you, probably more than anything, and talking with your hands.
Well, not that John has ever yelled at anybody.
No.
Right.
I think I was closer to probably being right than what really happened. That was just one of the unusual occasions.
Yeah, I was being ornery.
Yeah.
Well, I brought the one up last week when this is one that comes to mind was when Lottie first hired me to start doing some of this stuff was when we had that 4th of July race, and like I said, my best friend and my boss got into a fight, and there was only modifieds there, so they could see each other because there's no cars in between. They got into it on the track, so I come rolling up, and Lottie goes, "Well, here you go, bud. What are you gonna do now? Figure it out."
So mine this is going way back. This is when we'd have 2 cruiser car features every night. We'd have one to start the features and then one to end the features. Well, in between those 2, one car got all tore to hell, and they were pitted real close to where we were at. And they were trying to bend their bumper back. So they tied a chain to one of Lottie's light poles and started driving backwards, and that started shaking everything. All of a sudden, I see this guy come up, and I'd never met you. I didn't know who he was, but I heard his voice, and right away I was like, I know that voice, because he'd get on the mic down at Tommy's shack once in a while. And
the ass chewings from Lottie back in the day.
Give everybody hell.
See, that's why I don't get on the microphone anymore.
I will never forget
those. They refuse
those.
to let me stand on that table back there.
I've seen that a few times.
Yep. But he come wheeling up, and he jumped out, and he got him stopped. And he looked right at him, and he pointed him in the chest, and he said, "You're not smart enough to drive a regular race car. That's why you're driving this damn thing." I'll never forget that. And they never did that again. They didn't hook onto the pole.
They left the pole alone.
Yep.
There was a very nostalgic thing, like Lottie. I got to tell this story because it's from back when there was no sport mod stuff, and they used to have some really big raging parties out there. And let's be honest, Lottie was loved the racing thing, and we were talking about how much cheaper the light bill is now. Because the lights don't have to stay on until 5 o'clock in the morning during a weekly show. When we had
we used to drink a lot back then.
Right.
God Almighty.
And I remember one time there was, I don't remember who was driving the thing, but there was a white Hummer on the racetrack. And
a Hummer.
My dad talks about that all the time.
A Hummer.
Yeah.
On the racetrack.
On the racetrack. They were all partying, and they got the Hummer out on the racetrack.
Oh,
Him
you're
and
talking
Johnny's
after. Oh, after. Okay.
Yeah.
I never had no race car. Nobody had a Hummer race car.
My dad
But
drinks.
I remember, we've had several drunks on the racetrack afterwards.
Those were some wild conversation brought ups, ass chewings in the pit area during the week, And I think you earned a lot of respect from a lot of people from doing that, because you just didn't really give a shit. Like, guys, you need to toe a line here.
Well, race car drivers in general have to be reined in. That's their nature, that's their personality. That they're wide open from the minute they hit the pit gate till they leave. They're wide open, and they have to be reined in once in a while. They just get a little crazy.
Well, you and I had I think we had a situation where a couple guys were fighting even this year, and you told the guy straight to his face, like, you guys are self-governing until we have to get into the middle of it.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be worse for you guys. So, but it's always kind of been that way. And like you said, you've told Brett too, like, don't neuter our pit area.
Yeah.
Like, they got to be a little bit self-governing, because I think that creates excitement.
And when those deals happen on the racetrack, 50% of the time you can't tell exactly what happened. The only two people that really know the two there sitting in the seat.
Yeah.
I
agree with that.
When you think what you see, it wasn't what happened. So you just have to be real careful about what you do. You can't be chewing somebody's ass out, because it wasn't their fault. You
Right.
thought it was, but you didn't see what really happened.
A lot of people can't take an ass chewing though either. A
Well-
lot of people can't have an altercation or something on the racetrack and go back to their pit area and have an adult conversation about it either.
Correct.
Over 50% of them.
Right. Well, yeah, and I think that when you would give
Because
those.
they see the deal different. When they're sitting in the seat, they see the deal different than what we see.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and they think that they got maybe wronged or whatever.
Never racers' fault. You got two of them, and now somebody had to be at fault. Now one of them, it just didn't. That's why they call it an accident.
Dad always
somebody
said.
had to be at fault.
Right. Dad always said, he goes, yeah, that Lottie, he'd chew our ass, and next week there'd be 10 more cars
Yeah.
show up. I don't get it. I mean, so I think that like I said, it kind of really.
Have we been lucky at this place though?
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's. I tell everybody. Everybody always gives me a tough, not a tough time, but you're always racing at Boone. You're always racing at Boone. Well, it's only 2 miles from my race shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it puts on some of the best racing, as far as a consistency of good racing all night long.
Well, you know why that is though? It's because of the people that work here.
Right.
It's because of Rod and Bob. We have the very best racetrack in the state of Iowa. It's prepared. I wouldn't say it's the best racetrack, but it's the best prepared racetrack every day.
We talked about that, Josh, about the preparation for Super Nationals starts when you guys show up from spring.
Yeah,
Because he
it
does
is.
snowbird.
Yeah.
He does leave us here in the great state of Iowa and goes down to the warmthness.
Yeah, he's going back. What? You're going back in December?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I'm not going back in November is because my daughter's coming home.
Oh, yeah.
And she hasn't been home in 10 years, so. Yeah.
Oh. She's
Well,
coming,
and
finally
I just
coming
had-
back.
That's exactly what I'd like to know. I had a conversation with her just last night, and I finally says, Tricia, I've had enough of an ass chewing. I don't need any more. I don't really want to know what the hell you have to say. It went on for about 15 minutes, and I thought, Jesus Christ, do I have to listen to this?
Just probably returning one of them
Yeah, I'm
ass
sure.
chewings you used to give her over the years,
Yeah,
huh?
well, trust me,
Getting a little dig in there.
She never got an ass chewing. When she was, what the hell was she? Well, I made her go to school at UNI when she got out of high school. And she called me at mid-semester and says, I'm going to New York. I said, you're going to New York? Yeah, I'm going to New York to school. Well, that lasted about 2 months. She went and got a job. She hasn't come home since.
Yeah, because she's still in Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. She sells real estate in Manhattan.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Fun
I'm
fact
gonna tell
about
you, and this probably is no relation, but it has to do with the relationships. When she was a kid, she was a competitive roller skater, and I farmed her all over the country. I sent her to Denver to train, and I sent her to Missouri to train. I sent her to Illinois to, yeah. It was well, at that point in time, we actually believed that there was a possibility that roller skating would make it to the Olympics. That's how.
Really?
Yeah, and I think we had a shot at it. I just don't think we had enough powerful people with enough money to make it happen. But roller skating, when my kids skated, was very popular. It was huge.
I remember the places down in Des Moines were really big. Like,
Yeah.
There was,
2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the same guy, owned all,
He did.
all of
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, a guy named Sherman.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, his daughter was one of my daughter's coaches at one time. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I've heard stories about those places down
And
there.
that made her extremely independent. And she's like 5 or 6 year old when we started shipping her out. And that, she had to learn how to get ready, go to practice and take her shower and do her own hair, and it made her so independent.
Does she still skate?
No. I still got 2 pairs of skirts.
Yeah, I'm sure you
I
do.
do. I had them broads, whatever you call it.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
But being in the competitive skating business is really no different than owning a race car. It's just a different sport,
Well,
But
you
you have the same passion and
Right.
the same cost,
We've talked about, like, usually I'm on, and Josh knows this too, like on Saturdays when I'm hustling in to catch hot laps because I'm coming back from a wrestling tournament or a baseball tournament or whatever we got going on. And that's what I told Lottie. I said, man, we're in the wrong business because I've seen all the money those parents spend,
Yeah.
and I'm one of them
Yeah.
on all that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it isn't any different than racing, though.
Right.
Everybody's this. They ain't no cheap sport.
There's nothing cheap.
No.
Camping's expensive. I mean,
Try and buy a new
families.
camper now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
Hunting and fishing.
hunting,
Yeah.
fishing.
Look at the boats them guys use. Holy mackerel.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The funniest thing to me on that stuff is those were meant to be cheap entertainment.
Yeah.
Go out and throw a line in the water.
Yeah,
No big deal.
yeah.
And look what it's blossomed into.
Yeah.
And, racing's done the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was supposed to be the same way. You
Right.
just take an old chip box car
Yeah.
Yeah.
out of the
Knock the
junkyard,
glass out and go.
and now he's like to Jonathan's credit, he's making a living out of building them for guys. So
Yep.
There's no end of people spending money on them race cars, I hope.
No, I don't. It's a niche. It's a thing. We talk about the racing family.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, Lottie, you can attest to this. It just seems like that's just been so consistent. If there's a racer broke down or looking for something
Yep.
now on the internet per
Yep.
se, like when I grew up, there was you either had to be at the racetrack to see it happen, or versus now where you've got social media and stuff like that. So it's been kind of cool to see that little bit of a transition, but the consistency of the friends, the racing community, the family has been going on for years.
It's amazing how much the internet and the podcast and stuff has grown. It's staggering.
Well, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
That IMCA TV.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, good example.
But Richie Gustin made and Jim Gustin made the comment. It's like, you win a qualifier now on a Thursday night at Super Nationals. You look up in the stands, and when we were kids, it was like there wasn't a seat left in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you picked up all those viewers on IMCA
Well,
TV.
we have people who come here and camp and don't come to grandstand.
Yep.
yeah,
They're in their campers watching it on TV.
Which is wild. They just want to be here to hear
Yeah.
maybe the thunder or just to be a part of
I think they want to be the
Yeah.
social life, along
cruise
with the
around
race-
probably. Yeah, and
all
the-
day long, all the social stuff that goes on and all the people, all the great people that come to these racetracks are just unbelievable. That we have the greatest fans in the world. As good as baseball fans, as good as any fan, football fans, as good as any fans in the world.
It's awesome that you bring that up because that is true. It's crazy. I mean, what IMCA TV's been able to
Yeah.
do.
They
with
made
putting-
a lot of loyal fans to IMCA.
Holy moly, did
Yeah.
they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and pulled in a lot of new ones
absolutely.
that we wouldn't have had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just getting eyeballs on stuff
Yep.
is the biggest thing, right? Like you're basically day trading attention
Yeah.
at that point.
Right. Well, and my grandparents, I think the TV thing was such an awesome timing thing because my grandparents can't handle the heat, but they can most definitely order it and do order it and support it.
Yeah.
But as a promoter, I know that IMCA TV works with the racetracks, on that stream and stuff and everything, and I think that
They're pretty fair to us.
Yeah,
I'm pretty fair too.
from everything that's all the rumors that go around, nobody really knows. We're not going to get into what they do for that, but you get a little bit different viewer because you're not like my grandparents would come maybe once a year, until that got to the point now where my grandpa doesn't come because he just can't hack it, but he rents it every week.
Yeah. No, it's been a big addition.
Yeah,
It really has.
right. But it's just weird.
We have customers now that we never would have gotten.
Right.
Well, and like just on a weekly show too, the other thing though is these grandstands are a big section of grandstands.
Pretty good size. Yeah.
I don't know how many exactly it holds. Do you guys know?
A couple thousand.
A couple thousand.
Yeah.
So when you see everybody kind of spread out there, if you were to put them in, scrunch them all up, you'd actually have a decent crowd here on a weekly show for the most part.
And, he's been doing this for so long. And I usually sit with him during hot laps and we just kind of bullshit and talk about what's happening and whatever. And then, like, as the night's going on, he's done this long enough that he can sit up there and he is real close to however many people are in the grandstands. He can look and just be like, there's this many people in the grandstands. And then I'll be like, hey, how close was Lottie tonight? And Josh is like, oh, he's pretty spot on.
So do you guys take a tally of how many people come into the show or into the event, pit area, grandstand area, all that stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, we're pretty conscious of it.
Right.
That's what pays you guys.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we got to make sure that we stay in the green on your end, right, so that you can get paid. So.
Oh yeah. Always. It's always been in the green for me. I've always gotten paid here. Always.
Not
It's
that
been
you
cash.
guys get overpaid, but
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Funny you say that because there might be some news on that front sometime in the off season.
Don't do it.
How I'm not doing anything.
Don't do
Just
it.
saying. Just saying.
Don't do it.
run that all by me again.
I'm just saying there might be
Maybe what?
news
About what?
about how things happen around here. Yeah, we're gonna.
Well,
Do you
the
have
first
any
thing,
idea, do
Lonnie.
you have any idea what he's saying?
Yes, we're gonna
I'm glad
change.
somebody-
Yes, we're gonna change the voicemail of the Boone Speedway because right now it's robotic. So I've been practicing.
Oh, I don't think you need practice.
We're
You're fine.
we're changing it.
We're gonna make it happen.
That's right.
That's right. We'll make it happen.
That's right.
Bobcat, voicemails. We can do all kinds of
We're
stuff.
gonna get back to like the roots of this place,
Yeah.
not robotic.
Yep.
Robotic.
Yep.
Or whatever. You guys got me scared now.
It'll be good, Lottie.
Two minds like yours are not very good.
I know Lottie found out he used to drive, and he's like, "What? Really? You used to race?" Yeah. He was a little surprised.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were. Like a lot of people brought that up.
That goes to show you how smart he is.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But you know
He's got a
what?
race car.
He wasn't that smart for very long because he got right out, and then
Well, that's
now
right.
he's on the side where you don't have to spend no money.
That's probably the same thing. Probably the same thing that happened to me with no money and no talent.
He's right.
That's probably
Yeah.
that's the
That's what happened.
I tell
if
people
if
all
he'd
the
have won
time.
5 features in 1 year, he probably would have never sold his car.
Right? Yeah, no kidding. That's no kidding.
But when you run dead last 5 times in a year, then there's something different. You got to do something different.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell people all the time. I used to spend money, leave all my money at the racetrack. I finally one day I decided to take it home.
Yeah.
That's where I went. So.
Yeah, there's, like you said, there's more cases like that than not.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But we're grateful for that.
Yeah, no,
because
we are.
otherwise we wouldn't be able to even do this.
Well,
Yep.
if
Right.
and in all seriousness, and I can't remember those years that it happened, but when we had them 85 hobby stocks from Boone, that's what built this place.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
there's
that's what
people
put us on the map.
That's like, you know, people are like, holy shit.
Yeah.
There's 50 stock cars at Boone Speedway, and I'm like,
Yeah.
2 years ago, they averaged 46 stock cars weekly
Yeah.
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 Yep.
at Boone Speedway. But, you know, that also 141's that same way.
Yeah.
You know, they're it's almost like for whatever reason they get this place just attracts race cars, and it's because of
Well, they've apparently done things right for a long time.
right. They've been
I don't even know who owns the
consistent,
place.
right?
Who used to work up there now?
Who's got it now? Sarnaski's got it.
No.
now.
Who used to work
Charneski.
for us?
Toby.
Toby.
Yeah.
Toby's up there helping him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, but I can't ever say their name. Ratajczak. They had it before Charneski bought in. And then
Weren't they partners?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure.
I think both of them got money.
Yeah, that's because they have a racetrack.
No.
And they have race cars.
Race cars. Yeah, they travel.
Nobody ever got rich on the racetrack.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe NASCAR did, but there's nobody at dirt tracks that's ever, you know, there's a few of us been lucky enough that have made it.
You made it.
You know.
Well, and
but it's tough.
we've been lucky because, but like I said, we try our best not to create uncertainty, like on different things. Like, you know what you get. Rules are the same. We, you know, run a tight ship, run a quick show. Like, and I think that's what, you know, like you said, we say we're lucky, and we are, because we do get people to come here consistently on every Saturday night, you know, consistent basis.
But when you give the racers a consistent racetrack,
yes,
that's as good as possible. I should say as good as we are capable of. Probably as good as most people are capable of. You know, Rod's been doing this deal for a long time, and but we get as nice a racetrack as anybody in the country every day. It's so consistent.
Well, we were talking about the hole down in turn 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been there forever.
Yeah. Been there forever, and it's just sometimes
it shows up.
We've been spoiled here, is the thing.
Years ago when that thing showed up, we actually took a backhoe and dug that thing out, and filled it full of rock, and then put about a foot and a half of dirt over the top of it, you know, to try and get the water to drain out of that corner, because that's what it was doing. The water was seeping in from the back of the bank, and how it seeps that far, I don't know, but it's whatever it did.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just realized and learned why Turn 1 had the Melville whoop section down there.
And we I'm not sure we've ever figured it out.
Well, that's like,
it's a little better now. It's not consistent. You know, sometimes we get rid of it, sometimes we don't.
Well, and we talked about it.
But it does, we call it character.
Yes.
It gives the racetrack character.
Absolutely. Well,
I think it makes it racier.
Yeah.
It really, as a racer, it makes you think about going in there, because it's right when you set your car. Now, I know there was a couple of tumbles and stuff, you know, Vanderbeek, you know, getting upside down. Zach, thank gosh he was okay.
It's not that big, though. They could get over it and under it. They don't need to drive through it.
Right. Well, and okay, in our defense, when we don't have any, we have no oxygen in our brain at the time we pass the flag stand. As soon as they drop the rag, we are 3 wide. I mean, the Tanner Black thing, same deal. You know, like that hole did not cause that. That was a racing deal. Yeah. But us going, you know, I'm not lifting until you lift.
Yeah. Everybody's going Mach 9 going into turn 1.
Right. And then, you know, it happened so fast. So we talked about that. The water, when it would rain, you could tell when it had rained during the week, because that hole would have a little more character in it. And when it was drier, it was glass, you know. But back to why Boone Speedway and people, I think, come here and support it is it's the most consistent racetrack as far as, you know, there is no character 99% of the time.
Lucky. Yeah.
You go out of state, you can attest to this, Lottie.
Yeah,
I've been doing this.
I've done enough racetracks that I know they all got problems.
Right. And I think that's where Rod has been so consistent with that and made.
Well, he's been here so long too.
Right.
You know,
him, Perry, Hank.
just all of them. You know,
There are some new guys, some younger guys coming in to kind of learn the ropes.
Well, we're struggling to get them. You know, it's I don't know how we've been so lucky to have a couple of
Where's
these guys
the
around for
application line at for that? Because I've been thinking about hanging the helmet up and coming out here and.
I don't think we could hand you that long. It's hard enough to do this podcast with you.
Shots fired again. Minute.
There's a reel.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say,
Second
maybe
74.
Maybe some are deserving.
Right. Yes.
Who's catching strays now, Bob?
No kidding. Yeah. You gonna skin me up here?
But hey, I think with that we've got we were trying to make a point to stay under an hour and a half this time. We're at an hour and 15 this time, but so I don't know unless you guys got anything else.
Maybe we should take a break and then come back, just kind of close it out.
Sure.
Does that work for you?
Sure. Absolutely.
And hey, I just want to say, Lottie, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Well, when I came up here, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, we tricked you.
We
yeah,
don't
you did.
Hey,
if I known I had to be on this deal, I probably would have come.
Well, they told me last time that if you knew that I was going to be here,
I wouldn't come.
that you wouldn't have showed up.
No, you're right.
So that's why it
They're
was a
both
little under the
correct.
table.
Yeah, they're both correct.
Yeah.
Under the
Dad-
new table.
Dad told me when I told him that I was coming out here or whatever, and he said, "Don't be f***ing with him because Lottie he'll kick your ass, So that's why we kept it on the radar.
Well, I've had a lot of practice.
But thank you
Yeah,
seriously
a lot of
for
practice.
coming.
We
Lottie.
appreciate
No,
it.
it's good.
It's
Everything's good.
it's a very cool thing. When are you real fast? You're not ever going to retire.
But for what reason?
There you go.
No, we love it.
Well, yeah, thank you. Appreciate you letting us sneak you in here and do this because we've been trying to. We know, it's funny because people are like,
I would have never come up here if I didn't think I had that project to look at. I would have never done it.
well, and
I'm not very good at this stuff.
people, it's like Lottie's like this elusive creature, like the Wizard of Oz. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
what. But we got him pinned down.
Yep,
So.
we pulled back the curtain a little bit. Thanks, Lottie.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Well, we'll take a break and then we'll come back, wrap this up, and you're listening to Watermelons and Wood Chips. This next segment is brought to you by Logue Fabrication, your go-to shop for custom metal fabrication. From residential and commercial projects to auto racing applications, Logue Fabrication delivers quality and precision every time. They're not just fabricators, they're racers too. Proud home to Rage Hobby Stock and Stock Carts you see tearing up Boone Speedway every week. Whether you need a custom railing, a commercial build, or race-ready metalwork, trust the team at Logue Fabrication to get it done right. Logue Fabrication, where craftsmanship meets horsepower. We can help you stand out anywhere with P1 Promotions, the home of P1P Canopy. From the racetrack to the ball fields to trade shows and beyond, our custom pop-up canopies are built to showcase your brand in style, with multiple sizes and full customization available. But we don't stop there. P1 Promotions also delivers custom rugs, apparel, sportswear, trade show setups, and even P1P custom awards that make an impact. You can see all we have to offer at www.p1pcanopy.com. Well, welcome back to Watermelons and Wood Chips, and we just wrapped up our segment with Robert Lawton, one of the owners, and been the guy that's basically helped build the empire here at Boone Speedway and the Super Nationals and all that. But we wanted to do a quick recap of stuff that happened. We were talking about some other racing that was going on and some stuff that you had seen over the weekend, and I saw more extracurricular activities on social media from Tipton, but it was overall. I watched a lot of the races. It was a good show.
Yeah, excellent show. The Dark Side Promotions. Timmy and the gang down there have been really stepping up their game over the years. They've been doing it for quite a few years. It's really cool to see how Doom had a picture remember when they used to do the overheads here at Super Nationals, had one of them at Tipton. Man, it's grown. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but it's a super small racetrack.
Yeah.
the flagman down there, I can't remember the guy's name, but he is like a Bill Olson. Mm-hmm. So really cool to see that event, spark off and continue to get bigger and bigger for them down there. I mean, if you didn't get to see it on IMCA TV, what a banger that you missed, because I watched it and the racing was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a good show, and I even saw Franzen took a clothesline from the top of another guy, jumped off his hood and clothesline Franzen.
Flying headbutts. I seen a dog dish. Somebody was getting their head banged around with They must have thought they were thirsty. I don't know.
Yeah, but like I said, the Fall Bash has turned into like an event over there, and those guys have done a good job. I mean, their pit party is like the big thing of the whole Fall Bash, right?
Oh,
and
it's a big deal.
Yeah, and Timmy's got the band and all the stuff, so they've done a really good job. And like I said, the racetrack was good. From what I saw, I watched some of the features and stuff, and that is a cool little place.
That place gets super slick, and Saturday night they. Jerry and Jerry were announcing over there. Mm-hmm. And they just announced right on the broadcast, hey guys, you know what? This thing might look like it, might glassen up and take rubber. We're going to go ahead and farm it. It is going to take a while to farm it. But, watching the features, I mean, I think they made the absolute right call on that, because the racing was so good. Yeah. So hats off to the whole crew there, the IMCA TV crew. They did a Done Right TV. The whole gang down there just really, really put on a good event this year.
Yeah, and G-Wagon, he was in Western Kansas.
Yeah.
And at RPM at the Fall Nationals at the Hayes.
Yeah, I seen that they had a record car count for that show this year. Just over... Gee, maybe you can answer this. I know it was over 200 cars. I'm not sure exactly how many it was.
If I remember it was like 226.
I mean, pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's good. And, we've talked about Cam on his hot streak, and I think he blew up in practice. So we were hoping for 3 in a row out there out of the bulletproof, but didn't quite get her done. Didn't even make it out of hot laps.
I seen the Snapchat. I'm like, man, that's a shitty way to start the weekend there.
Well, that's why it's so humbling, right? So
right,
yeah, it just. But like I said, that deal continues to grow, and those guys. I saw some talk on the IMCA Super Nationals group page of people from Hayes wanting to bring back the Tiki Hut. So.
Oof. Boy.
So
now we're talking.
Yeah.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we can get Wade to bring the Tiki Hut back, then we're in business.
So is the Tiki Hut there?
Yeah, I think it's it. I don't know if it's there all the time. I don't know.
Well, for this show it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know either. That's
I know that Wade is from Hayes or in that area, and they used to bring it to Super Nationals.
Yeah, that'll spice things up. We'll let the Boone Police Department know. that might be back. We'll give old Corey a call.
Yeah. Well, he's a sheriff now, so it has to be on that side of the road for his jurisdiction.
Either way,
yeah.
I think he'd come out.
Attendance at a couple of those here, policing some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And we had a guy that was supposed to. I think he was at the Tiki Hut that was supposed to start in the middle row of the Super Nationals one year, and Corey got hit by a mud clod by this fella.
Really?
At the Tiki Hut, and he didn't get to race the Super Nationals the next night. Well, so
darn it!
Jeez.
That's why you don't words. Mm-hmm. We talked about this last week a little bit.
Use your words.
You just never know who's watching.
Yeah. But anything else coming up that you can think of?
You got Hawkeye Downs racing this weekend again. Dirt at the Downs. Get out there and support that. I don't know if they're going to have dirt on it much. I know they're going to run a few shows for the remainder of the year. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, you got the Dirt Track Championship coming up at Eldora, the Big E. Mm-hmm. That's next weekend.
Yep.
But IMCA shows, I'm not really sure. When is the Iowa Nationals?
Well, the Harvest Tussle's coming up. What, the
24th and 25th.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think which one are you talking about? The
Iowa Dirt Nationals that Timmy and them put on. I thought, isn't that, or I know that's a fall show.
Yeah,
I just don't know when it is.
100%.
But those are the only shows that I know that are racing.
There's
Because
just a few
Spencer ran last week too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah,
So-
they're just about done. They're pretty much everybody's wrapped up. I want to say Marshalltown's about the last one.
Really?
Yeah. So then they got that Carl Moyer Harvest Tussle Memorial deal for Carl, and so I think that'll be a big one. I think if he gets good weather, it's going to be he'll head out of the park.
I think if he gets good weather, I think that it'll be a good. It's last year was a great show.
Yeah.
So
Are you racing?
Oh, I'm racing. I'm racing. Yeah, I am racing.
But we're racing.
I made this about 15 minutes before
Yeah.
before we came on.
Yeah, he called me sound like a little kid at Christmas. He's like, she's gonna print it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so be sure to get out there and support the Marshtown Speedway for the Harvest Tussle over there. Going to be a great show. Like I said, drew in a lot of cars, last year.
Yeah.
From kind of a nice area,
Yeah.
of cars from not just Marshtown or your weekly guys that run there. Pays good money out
Yep.
there. Check the flyer out. I think Jay Van just posted registration and stuff, I believe, or whoever does it for Jay Van. We know all he does over there is sheep's foot. So, yeah, get out there and check out the Marshtown Speedway here in a couple of weeks. And
I got a little something on that show that you guys be interested to know. So I'm not gonna work it. I got a prior commitment, but my fill-in is the Big L.
yeah,
Well, Logan's gonna be on. He's gonna be on the machine. So when you go to draw, he might be your guy. You might have to
Great.
go up and twist him a little bit.
great. You think he feels weird being on the other side of the flag stand?
Maybe.
Because Foxman, okay,
Yeah.
Foxman does a good job over there at Marshtown on the sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He was working lineup for us at Super Nationals too,
He
because
was.
we were down a guy and that something happened and had a family deal. So Foxman stepped in kind of last minute on the fly, and he was
Jumped in.
in there. He looked like Buddy Moran, like waving his arms and shit.
Yeah,
like
oh, yeah.
he was trying to get all them cars lined up. He kind of reminded me. He looked like
Jotting stats.
yeah.
Yeah. I would guess Logan's probably a lot like me. Once he gets in the tower, looking over at that flag stand, probably thinking, "Ooh, I could do this." Or because when I watch a race, I can't just watch a damn race anymore. It's, "Ooh, how are they running the program? What's the format? Like, well, how did they do the draw?" It doesn't. It ruins you once you get on that side.
Well, and that's the same thing. I've gone to a couple races just to go like watch and whatever, and same thing. Your mind just goes to like,
Yep.
how can we make this better? You
Right.
know?
Right. And some of them have ideas that, yeah, it does. It makes your program better. Some of them have ideas that you're like, I'm never doing that because it would be terrible.
Right.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
But cool.
yeah, episode 3.
Yeah, we're in the books. We're gonna knock this one in the head and and move forward next week. But I did talk to a couple guys, so within the next couple weeks, I'm thinking we're gonna be able to have Tim Ward and Jake McBurney on, different
Nice.
different shows within the next couple weeks once it works out of their schedule. Because I know Tim's going to Hope for the Race for Hope down in Batesville. So I think, G, are you going down there for that? No. So
We forgot about that race.
yeah.
Yep.
So that is an up and coming show.
Mm-hmm.
We forgot Mooney and the gang down there does a great job.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So
Yeah. Thanks everybody for liking, sharing, subscribing. Keep pushing it. We appreciate it. We're doing this. We're having our own bit of fun, but hopefully you're having a little good time with it as well.
yeah, and like Josh said, that do what you can to help support this thing because we're trying to grow it organically, and like I said, so far it's been going good for us, and we're kind of sitting back going, man, this is crazy. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions or whatever, send them to us. We have our email on there. We have our Facebook page, TikTok pages, Instagram, all the things. So YouTube.
Yep.
So, and then, rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to try and boost our ratings so that more people can see it in the results. So, but other than that, fellas, like I said, Jonathan Logue, thank you. Josh Reynolds, thank you. And Lottie, thank you for joining us on another episode of Watermelons and Wood Chips. We'll see you guys next week.